What's going on, everyone? It's Barles, and I'm back for another video, and it's only one day after the last one, so first time ever we've had two in 2 days. It's currently it's about 2:55 a.m. in the morning, so it's quite a late upload, so you guys will probably, most of you will see this when you wake up, but we got NFL preview. I want to get this up before the first game's played, because we're going to get stuck straight into the preview. So the first game in NFL tomorrow on Thursday Night Football, but Friday morning for me here in Australia at 9:50 a.m. is the Atlanta Falcons are playing at Philadelphia. They're playing the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is obviously runners-up from 2 seasons ago, with Atlanta playing Philly, who obviously won the Super Bowl last year. So obviously we know that Carson Wentz is not going to be available, and he's been confirmed that he will not play at all in the game. So that means Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP, will get the start, which probably not many people thought. Probably many people thought that Carson Wentz was going to get the start, but he probably hasn't come up to scratch yet, so I don't really want to risk him. And considering the guy they're playing as quarterback won the Super Bowl for them, well, I think it's not a bad replacement. In terms of Atlanta, though, I think that Matty Ryan had a down year last year, so I think he should come back this year. He's got some good taste. He's got Devontae Freeman out the backfield at running back. Then he's got people like Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, new rookie Calvin Ridley to throw to. So I don't think it'll be much trouble. And then Philadelphia as well. Alshon Jeffrey is not likely to play, from what I hear. Apparently, a bit of an injury. He's picked up a bit of an injury at training, so Nelson Aguilar will probably take the top receiving position there. So in terms of that game, I think Philadelphia will get that done. I think they'll start on the front foot. In terms of tipping, 60% have gone Philly in that one. So I expect Philly to win as well, being at home. I just expect them to get the job done, but Atlanta will probably put up a really good fight, and that could be first upset of the season. But then it's not really an upset, it's 50-50. Anyway, next game we got Houston Texans at playing New England Patriots at New England Patriots home. So in terms of that one, I think that would be quite close, I reckon. I reckon that'll surprise a lot of people. 83% have actually gone Patriots, but I wouldn't be surprised if Houston put a bit of an upset there, because they've got Deshaun Watson is back after his ACL injury, so he'll start for them. And when he was throwing to DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller, it was just insane, the amount of touchdowns and how well they were going before Deshaun Watson got his injury, which was very unfortunate, considering that in his first year he was averaging the most fantasy points out of any quarterback ever in a game, in more than a 6-game period. And that's better than Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Michael Vick, Peyton Manning, all them. So it's pretty insane as well. So yeah, Patriots lost a few people though. Obviously, Julian Edelman was suspended. Damian Dolan went to Miami. Mike Gillislee got cut and he's now at the Saints. I think they lost some. Brandon Cooks went to the Rams, so they've lost a lot of their depth. But I still think that I've tipped them. I think they get the job done, but I wouldn't be surprised. That would be the game where I wouldn't be surprised if Houston did get the chocolates in that one. So look out for that one to be possibly an upset. Next game. Jacksonville Jaguars are playing at New York Giants. In terms of that one, that'll be good to see OBJ back, Odell Beckham Jr. back for them. I didn't get to see him play at all like during a game last season, so it'll be good to see him live. And yeah, I think they'll be a lot better. Not Jacksonville. I think the Giants will be a lot better this season. Obviously, with OBJ coming, that's a massive in. They've got him. Not that like last season, Sterling Shepard and Evan Engram carried a lot of the workload for them. But I think adding those two, adding Odell Beckham Jr. and Saquon Barkley, who will be starting for them out the backfield, which is good. I think that excuse me. I think that they'll be quite strong offensively. It just depends if their defense can hold up. Jacksonville, obviously, as we know, their defense is fantastic. People like Calais Campbell, Jalen Ramsey, people of that caliber. They're going to be very, very hard to beat. I think that Jacksonville get the job done. I think that they'll be able to win. I think the defense is that strong, even though they have lost Marquise Lee in their offense. That might be a little bit of trouble, but I don't think they got Leonard Fournette, the backfield there, so I think they'll be okay. So I think Jacksonville will win that one, but Giants could certainly put up some good numbers on their day. Just as I said, it'd be interesting to see how those four offensive guys work with Eli Manning under center. Next game, San Francisco 49ers playing the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. I think that'll be a decent game actually. Unfortunately, here of Jerick McKinnon, running back for the 49ers, unfortunately his ACL. I had him in my fantasy team, so unfortunately I had to drop him, which was unfortunate because I thought he might have been pretty productive this season for them. So they got Matt Breida and Alfred Morris now to take over. I'm still not 100% sure of who's going to be that one that takes his role, but at this stage it probably looks like Morris will get that role. But don't be surprised if Brady gets that role as well. And it'd be good to see Jimmy Garoppolo from the get-go and have a whole season on there, because they didn't actually lose a game, I don't think, from memory, when Garoppolo was on the centre. So yeah, that'll be an interesting game, that one. But I think that Minnesota will get the job done. I think Minnesota are going to be quite comfortable again. 82% have gone Minnesota for that one. I think Kirk Cousins is a great addition to quarterback. Case Keenum did really well last year, but I think Kirk Cousins again is another level. I think he's a decent upgrade. They've got Stephon Diggs, who I think will have a massive breakout this year, having someone like Kirk Cousins on a centre. You've got Adam Thielen as well, and then Kyle Rudolph. So he's got some decent options to be trying to. And then Dalvin Cook coming back from his ACL injury last season to now start for them. I think they'll be quite strong this year. I would be very surprised if they missed out in the playoffs and missed out on getting quite far. So I think Minnesota win that one. Next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing at the New Orleans Saints. That one, 95% have gone Saints, and I fully agree with that. I can understand why. There's no Jameis Winston at quarterback for Tampa Bay, so that's going to be a big out for them. They're going to have to play Ryan Fitzpatrick, which is not a bad in, but he's been prone to turning the ball over at times. So they're going to struggle, I think. And I think Saints, they've got Mark Ingram out, but I think Alvin Kamara will be able to hold up that backfield, and he'll be quite strong. I've got him in my fantasy team, which is very nice. I'm looking forward to him hopefully putting some good numbers up. I've got like 5 different teams that I'll probably be mentioning. I have half 100 players in this video from my team, but yes, I think the Saints will win, and I think that they'll win quite convincingly as well. Next game is the Tennessee Titans are playing at Miami. They're playing the Miami Dolphins. This one is a bit of an interesting game. Looking at it, I thought that Tennessee would get the job done quite convincingly, but Miami, being at their home as well, could be quite difficult. They did lose Jarvis Landry to Cleveland, so that could be a significant out. They don't really have they've got their rookie tight end, Mike Gesicki. So it'll be interesting to see how they cope with a few of those out. But they got Danny Amendola to come in, so that's a pretty good wide receiver to have there for them. Obviously, if you want to play the Patriots, so that'll be interesting, that game. Tennessee as well, adding Dion Lewis. He's another one that left the Patriots as well. Dion Lewis, he's now in Tennessee, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes along with Derrick Henry in that backfield. And I expect Mariota to make another step and hopefully be a bit better this season. But yeah, I still do think that Tennessee will win that one. I think they'll be able to get that job done. So, moving on to the next game, Buffalo Bills are playing at Baltimore, playing the Baltimore Ravens. That one for me is pretty simple. I don't know how there's been 14% have gone Buffalo, because I don't really think they're a chance to get the job done at all. I think that Baltimore are going to get that job done quite convincingly. Bills, obviously, they don't really have much defense. They got Nathan Peterman, who threw 5 interceptions apparently in one quarter last season in a game. So that's very concerning. Lesean McCoy apparently has got a bit of a groin injury, or calf. I think it's a groin, but apparently he may be touch and go. He may not get the volume of 20 to 30 touches that he generally gets a week. And I just think they're going to really struggle. Ravens have got a fantastic defense, led by T-Siz, Terrell Suggs, so they'll be quite strong being at home as well. And they've got a pretty decent offense. Joe Flacco looked good in the preseason and looks like he may be in for a rebound year. And they got Alex Collins out of the backfield, who was fantastic in the back half of last season. And yeah, they've just got an all-round good team, and they brought in Michael Crabtree as well, who'll be their wide receiver, their first choice wide receiver. So that'll be good. So I think Ravens, that one will be another game that'll be quite convincing as well. Next game is the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns, playing in Cleveland. This one last season, I would have said Pittsburgh any day of the week. Cleveland were a shambles last season, but they've obviously brought in a heap of talent. Josh Gordon came back from his 3 or 4 year hiatus from personal issues and stuff. They brought in Jarvis Landry from Miami, who was their number 1 wide receiver. So now you got 2 number 1 wide receivers playing 1 and 2, which is fantastic for them. Signing Carlos Hyde from the 49ers is a great sign. They brought in Nick Chubb from the draft. They brought in, who else they bring in? David Njoku, playing in his second season. He's probably going to take another step up again and become that middle tier to higher tier tight end, I think. I don't know if I'm forgetting anyone. And they got Tyrod Taylor, whatever you say. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Tyrod. But brought him in as well. And then I've got Baker Mayfield, the number 1 pick overall from last year's draft. So they've got a very, very good offense now. It's going to be very, very dangerous to see how they go. Pittsburgh, they've got Bell, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, the 3 Bs, Juju Smith-Schuster. They've got a heap of talent in that squad. Le'Veon Bell probably might, at this stage, looks like he won't play because he's not training with the team because of his franchise tag and stuff to do with that. So teammates getting annoyed. So James Conner will probably start for them, but I think he'll be productive enough for them. This one is actually quite a difficult game to pick. Only 13% have gone Browns, which is interesting. 87% Steelers. I'll still go Steelers. I think that Brown and Roethlisberger will still, will still be able to connect quite a bit, and especially then connect with Juju Smith-Schuster. So I think that they'll be able to get the job done, I think. But it'll be a very, very close game, I think. I think it'll be very high scoring as well because the defences can, at times, let in a lot of scoring. Next game is the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Indianapolis Colts. I'm looking forward to seeing Andrew Luck, my fantasy quarterback that I've drafted in a lot of in about probably 3 of my 5 leagues at the moment. I'm in 5 different leagues. And I'll be looking forward to seeing him he had a shoulder injury, I believe, last season, so he didn't play at all last season. So he'll be back on the centre for them. Marlon Mack probably won't start out the backfield for them, which is unfortunate. They'll probably have Jordan Wilkins or someone like that will probably be playing out for them. But I think T.Y. Hilton have a resurrection year. I think he'll be able to, especially with Luck under center, I think he'll be able to certainly pick up his production. And they've got Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron at the tight end. So I think they've got definitely a lot of pass catches in that offense. And Marlon Mack, when he gets back, can do that job as well if he doesn't play. But it's looking likely he won't. Cincinnati, I'm not overly sold on them yet. Andy Dalton. He's been inconsistent for mine from what I've seen. Some games he'll be really, really bad. He'll throw interceptions, he'll fumble it, he'll get sacked, whatever. And then other games he'll be like Tom Brady, where he'll throw for 300 yards and have like 3 touchdowns. So we don't know where that comes from. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. But I think that the Indianapolis Colts will get the job done. I think they'll get the job done. 55% have only gone. This is a 50-50 game, but I think that Colts will get the job done. So I'm hoping that, well, that's good, because hopefully then my tipping goes alright. Next game, there's 16 games. There's quite a long few games here, guys. Next game is the Kansas City Chiefs playing in LA, playing against the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, this one for me, I think Kansas City will take a bit of a fall this year, losing Alex Smith. He's obviously at Washington now. Got Patrick Mahomes now in the centre, which I think he'll be good, but I don't know. They traded Marcus Peters to the LA Rams. Eric Berry apparently might not be ready for week 1 with a heel injury, so I'm not sure. He may not start. He may not even be playing at all. And then LA Chargers have got a heap of talent. They got Phillip Rivers, and at the quarterback position, he's doing really well. He's going to probably have another great season. You've got Melvin Gordon out of the backfield, who apparently has been practicing his pass catching as well, so he'll be able to run the ball and catch the ball, which is always a bonus. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, probably bounce back second year for him, so he should probably be a lot better than last season. Was injured throughout the season. And Antonio Gates as well. They just signed him on another 1-year deal, so I think that they'll be very, very strong. Especially at home as well. So I think they'll get the job done. And 60% have gone Chargers. So, but I think that'll be Chargers will get that job done. Next game is the Seattle Seahawks playing the Denver Broncos in Denver. Now this one was a tricky one for me. Denver at home could be quite strong, especially with their first year rookie Royce Freeman now confirmed to have that job as the running back over Devontae Booker, but Case Keenum, is he going to be able to do what he did at the Vikings and bring it to Denver? Is Denver going to have the same options? Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas, are they going to be able to work with Case Keenum? A lot of question marks over them. Whereas Seattle is Seattle. I know they did lose Paul Richardson and Jimmy Graham to the Washington Redskins and Green Bay Packers respectively. But they've got Russell Wilson under centre and top 5 quarterback in my opinion. Doug Baldwin's there. They've got Chris Carson will take over as probably the starting running back for this week. Rashad Penny will be in the backfield as well, so he's an option. They've got some options. Tyler Lockett apparently is going to have this breakout this season from what reports have been saying, so that'll be interesting. But I think I've tipped Seattle. I think Seattle will win, but that is probably the game where I think it could go. That's a 50-50 game for me. And it shows 56% going Seattle, 44% going Broncos. So yeah, next game is the Washington Redskins playing the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. So that'll be an interesting game again. With Cardinals have got David Johnson back this season after him doing an injury. I think it was a hand or wrist or something. From memory, he's out for pretty much the whole season besides the first game. He got injured during the first game. So it'll be good to see him back. He's obviously a fantastic player. He's a top 5 player in drafts. Whatever he's like this year, he scored the most fantasy points, not last season, the season before that. So that's showing the caliber of player that he is. And then Washington bringing in Paul Richardson, bringing in Alex Smith on the centre. So they'll be quite strong this season, I think. I've actually gone Washington, but looking at that now, I reckon I'm going to go and I'm going to I reckon I'm going to tip the Cardinals, I think, because just with David Johnson being back, I think their offense will be quite good. Sam Bradford will probably get the start there as well. He's a good quarterback if he can stay fit. So I think that Arizona will get that job done. But again, that's another 50-50 one. 61% went Arizona, 39% Washington. change the tip will come back probably to bite me in the butt, but oh well, that's fine. I'm happy for that to happen. Not really, but anyway, move on. Dallas Cowboys playing the Carolina Panthers in Carolina, and this one's pretty easy. Carolina are going to win, and they're going to win quite comfortably. Christian McCaffrey will take another step this season, massive step, probably become top 10 running back in the league. If not, he already is. Cam Newton will just do what Cam Newton does, just a lot of good stuff. And they've got a lot, and Devin Funchess at wide receiver, and Greg Olsen coming back after having injury last season. He's been quite durable, but last season he got injured, so he'll be back this season. So that's another good player to bring back. And Dallas Cowboys losing Des Bryant, losing to free agent, Jason Witten retiring. They've lost a lot of depth there. And they've got people like Michael Gallup, which is good, but he's only in his first year, so we don't really know how he's going to do. Alan Hearns coming from Jacksonville, so is he going to be able to produce what he did in Jacksonville? A lot of questions about that offense. Zeke goes back after his suspension and off-field dramas last season. He'll be fantastic for them, but is he going to be able to get enough support from the whole team? So that'll be interesting, but I think Panthers will get that job done quite convincingly. 71% have gone them, so I certainly agree with that. Probably, if not, should be a bit higher. 3 games to go, and this is the final one on Sunday. So Sunday night football, Monday morning here. Chicago Bears playing the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. So I think that one will be interesting. Chicago Bears signing Khalil Mack is a big signing for them. He's obviously one of the best defensive linemen in the league. And having Mitch Trubisky under center, having another season, he'll improve. Obviously, he did okay last season, but just obviously some rookie mistakes and stuff. Bringing in Trey Burton at tight end is a fantastic one. Apparently, the coach, Matt Nagy, I think his name is, wants to use him like he did using Travis Kelce in Kansas City. So, and that he, with a lot of receptions, red zone targets, a lot of those targets around the field, and he'll be targeted quite heavily. So he'll be prominent. Jordan Howard out of the backfield, I think, is going to be a big riser this season. If he already is, but he's been taken in drafts around 30, 31, 32, 33, somewhere around there in the 3rd or 4th round. But I think he'll be top 15, top 10 even running back. So he'll make even more of a rise this season. And Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers back, which is good news for everyone, the fans of the NFL, to be able to see probably one of the best quarterbacks, probably the best quarterback playing football right now, but one of the best quarterbacks probably of all time once he finishes his career. Back under centre, he's got Devontae Adams. He loses Jordy Nelson, but he's got people like Randall Cobb, and he's now got Jimmy Graham from Seattle, who will be quite prominent in the red zone, I feel. But I think Green Bay will get the job done in that one. 93% have tipped Green Bay, which is interesting. I thought more people might have gone Chicago, but I think people just with Aaron Rodgers are just like, yep, they're going to win. And all these ratings with tipping things is on NFL Weekly Pick'em. So that's the stats. So this is the official NFL website. So that's where I'm going off of. 2 games to go. Monday Night Football. First game is Tuesday for us again. Is New York Jets and the Detroit Lions in Detroit. I think this one is pretty simple as well. Detroit will get the job done. They've just got more weapons for the whole team. Like Matt Stafford on the centre, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones Jr. They haven't really got a tight end though that's proven yet. I think Eric Ebron. I'm not actually sure who they'll be starting at tight end actually, but they've got a big backfield committee as well. They've got 4 running backs that could potentially be their first. They've got LeGarrette Blount, who will probably get the start. Kerryon Johnson, who they just signed. Well, no, not signed. They picked up in the draft. And they've got Amir Abdullah and Theo Riddick from last season, and they still haven't really been able to produce the numbers that Detroit would have been hoping for. So it'll be interesting to see who they pick out of it, but I expect Blunt and Kerryon Johnson to be prominent in the running back position. And the New York Jets, I think they're a young team that's just going to keep improving. They've got Sam Darnold, who's going to get the start. So that'd be good to see a new rookie quarterback starting for them. But they've got a lot of question marks over who's going to be. Like, is it going to be Isaiah Crowell, or is it going to be Bilal Powell taking at running back? Is it going to be Quincy and Wu? I'm not exactly sure 100% on his name. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Terrell Pryor, who's going to be the best receiver out of them? Losing Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who's going to be their tight end. I'm not sold on their team yet. So 85% of people as well have gone Detroit. So I think that Detroit, I agree with that. I think Detroit gets on. And the final game, probably the one I'm looking forward to the most, actually, because I'm looking forward to seeing one player in particular play. And it's the Los Angeles Rams playing the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. Now, I don't see Oakland putting up much of... Oh, they'll put up a fight, but I don't reckon that they'll be able to put up a massive fight. But just Rams are loaded with talent, and probably one of my favourite players in the NFL, Todd Gurley. Got him in one draft. Luckily got first pick in a draft, so I picked him. And looking forward to seeing him live again this season. Fantastic last season. And they signed Dominican Sue. I don't know if I pronounced it right again. Aaron Donald signed the franchise tag and signed a new extension with them. Marcus Peters, Akil Talib. I'm probably forgetting one as well that they signed, but they've signed a lot of good. Their defence has just taken another level. Greg Zerline was the best kicker in the league before he got injured before the last 4 games last season, so he was fantastic for them as well. Their offense is they brought in Brandon Cooks. They've got Cooper Kupp. They've got Robert Woods, Jared Goff under centre, Todd Gurley, as I said, out the running backs. So they're just loaded with talent. And Oakland, they did bring in Jordy Nelson. Michael Crabtree's gone out. He went to Baltimore, as I said before. Amari Cooper, bounce back year possibly for him. But I think that they're going to struggle against an LA Rams team, which I think will feature heavily in the playoff picture come the end of the season, possibly even in the Super Bowl. That's a bit of an early prediction from Bales there. LA Rams to possibly make the Super Bowl, or at least play in the semi-final or divisional playoff. I think it's called from memory. I think it's divisional playoff. But yeah, don't hold me to that. I'm still getting used to a lot of the terminology for NFL. But yeah, so 81% have gone the Rams, and I agree with that totally. So that will be the end of the video. If you watched it, I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like. As usual, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, if you're new here. And share the video with friends and whatever, so this can reach more people, and more people can watch my content and hopefully enjoy some good content. And yes, and I'm looking forward to the NFL season kicking off tomorrow at 9:50 a.m. In Adelaide here tomorrow, so that'll be quite good to see that. It's been a bit of a long time coming, waiting for this, so yeah. And so yeah, next video I hope will be probably sometime next week. Next week will be a bigger week. We've got the AFL preview, we've got this EPL preview because EPL's back, and then the NFL preview for week 2. So yeah, so again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch everyone later. Have a good weekend, guys. Cheers.